Hey everybody, it's Jason from the Texas Gun Vault, and once again, it is Sunday, and that means it's time for the Texas Gun Vault Poll Question of the Week. Today is the 52nd episode. We have reached 1 year of questions. I hope you guys have been enjoying this segment. The question this week deals with YouTube, their guidelines for firearms channels, demonetization, and removing certain firearms channels from their platform. As we know, YouTube is not a Second Amendment friendly company, and they are doing everything to silence any point of view that they don't agree with. Now, of course, I've mentioned in the past that my channel has been demonetized, and I am part of the great YouTube firearms purge. So this week's question deals with what are you going to do when firearms are finally completely banned from YouTube? But with that said, let's dive right into this week's question. This week's question deals with YouTube demonetization and censorship. I have worked hard to make my channel a positive Second Amendment platform. To this end, I have never cursed or belittled anyone, and I always strive to remain in YouTube's community guidelines. However, maybe due to the fact my channel is about firearms in general, they have demonetized me, and I have also heard the same from other content creators. Others have also complained that they have removed videos and other content for no reason. YouTube is a private company, but also effectively holds a monopoly on the marketplace. Maybe it is an organized push to eliminate firearms content, but I know many channels are no longer producing content and/or scaling back. Where will you get your firearms content fix when YouTube bans gun channels in general? So the reason I came up with this question wasn't just because my channel was affected, but it's because many of the other content creators that I talk to on YouTube have also been suffering from the same thing. And essentially, many of the content creators that you guys look at on YouTube are going to be smaller to mid-level channels. People that don't do this for a living, like myself. This is simply just a hobby. And yeah, while our content might not be as polished or as produced as, let's say, the biggest channels that do it full-time and have big-time sponsorships, you can still get a lot of entertainment value and knowledge from other content creators that are on the smaller level. I know personally, when it comes to diagnosing many gunsmithing problems, it's always been the small channels that have helped me, not the big ones. The big ones, I think, have kind of turned into advertisements for gun companies, and there's nothing wrong with that. They do fun videos where they go out into a field and blow up pumpkins or tannerite or the like. They go out there and shoot machine guns. But for the average gun guy, these are things that you're not going to do. Yeah, it's fun to watch. But when it comes to actually getting honest opinions about guns or how to problem solve when it comes to a particular action on a gun, well, a lot of times the small channels are where you have to go because these people have the problems, find a fix, and want to share it with you. But of course, this might be just a little bit of my own personal bias because that's what I have always turned to YouTube for. Personally, when it comes to my firearms feed on YouTube, I've always looked at the small and mid-level channels. Occasionally, I'll watch the big ones, but for me, the entertainment value of those videos has declined over time. You can only watch, as I said, so many pumpkins get blown up, or somebody say how awesome a particular gun is, and it turns out that they're being sponsored by that particular gun company. Yeah, it's always fun to watch guns go boom. But for me, as a collector and somebody that really gets into the mechanics and the history of guns, well, I like to get different types of content. And YouTube has always provided this platform for big people and small people to be able to produce the content that they want. And you, as the content consumer, have always been able to pick what you want to watch. And YouTube, for the most part of its history, was pretty laissez-faire when it came to the content that was on the platform. They just let it go. But now that the world is becoming so polarized, we have a dichotomy between essentially the left and the right, or the anti-gun and the pro-gun. They are trying to do anything to silence those voices that they don't like, even if the content that's being created falls within the community guidelines and is not political in any way. Just because they are dealing with an item that they don't want to promote, they will do everything in their power to eliminate it. For many channels, it's demonetization. They're going to say, well, you're technically not breaking our community guidelines, but we don't want to advertise when you're showing guns. And what does that do to the medium and small content creators? Well, running a channel like this does take time and money. And most of us lose money doing that. I know that I personally do. And so that little bit of ad revenue was able to help maintain the channel with the cost of ammo and my time. So now you're going to see fewer and fewer of the small channels. Now, if you're somebody that just loves the big channels, the Hickok 45s, the Paul Harrells, well, you're probably not going to be affected at all. But if you're somebody like myself that likes the smaller content creators, well, this is going to be a big impact. People are going to say, well, I just don't have the resources to continue to produce this content as a hobby. And so when that content goes away, I think there's going to be a lot of people here on YouTube that are going to miss it. And inevitably, when there's a vacuum, somebody comes in to fill that vacuum. And I think all of us that have gotten used to, over the past decade or so, being able to have all of this great firearms content at our fingertips, we're still going to seek it out. And we're going to try to find a platform where we can get it. So, with that said, let's see what you guys have to say on where you're going to go if YouTube finally bans firearms. With 1,000 votes this week, we have I will stay on YouTube and take what I can get, 26%. Then we have Rumble, BitChute, Odyssey, or another video platform, 56%. I will go back to print media like magazines, 5%. Gun shows, gun shops, and gun ranges, 9%. And something else, explain in the comments, 4%. The only thing about this result that really surprised me was the large number of people, 26%, that said they were going to stay on YouTube no matter what, even if essentially YouTube destroys firearms content completely. This makes me a little bit sad. You know, historically speaking, I know that our nation was founded by people that got tired of where they were living and the rules that they were living under and sacrificed everything to potentially go to a place that is dangerous and unknown to forge their own destiny. Now, this is just a video platform, but I think that we can learn a lesson here. The people that stay behind enemy lines and just complain and never really get up and say, this is a cause worth fighting for, and just take it and stay, are the problem. Because if you continue just to stay on YouTube because it's convenient, it's what you know, things will never change. And it continues to give them power in perpetuity forever. When firearms content is gone, what are they going to ban next? Knife content? Are they going to ban political speech? Well, they already are on one side of the aisle. And eventually, you're only getting one narrative that they want to get. But instead of going someplace else and saying, I'm not going to take this, I'm not going to give them my time and my money, you just go ahead and stay there because it's convenient. I don't want to take the time to go learn a different website. I don't want to download a different app. I'm just going to stay here on YouTube and take what I can get. As I said, everybody has to decide what's best for them. But that 26% does make me a little bit sad. But let's go through each one of these and I'll give you guys my opinions. I will just stay on YouTube and take what I can get. Well, I just told you what I feel about that. If we as a community refuse to try anything else, well, YouTube is going to win and they're going to dominate the narrative when it comes to political speech here in the United States. As I said, yes, they are a private company. However, they have a monopoly on this marketplace. Imagine if our streets were privatized. And what I mean by that is a private company builds them and owns them. And therefore they can decide if you're allowed to go on them. Well, then you're stuck in your house if you're banned from going on the roads. Well, we have to agree that the roads are a public place because they're the only place that we can traverse between point A and point B. They're owned by everyone. Well, when you have a video platform that dominates the virtual marketplace, it essentially becomes a utility. It is a monopoly. And therefore, if they can ban anything that they want, well, this is going to lead us down to a path of censorship and I think a destruction of the civil society. Then we have Rumble, BitChute, Odyssey, or another video platform, 56%. I'm really glad a majority of people voted for this. I know personally I have already started to move over to Rumble as well. Now personally, I have tried out all of these different platforms, and I gotta say, for my personal taste, Rumble is the way to go. It's a video platform that is very similar to YouTube. It has the same type of search algorithms, and you're able to simply subscribe and you have a feed. It is also free of charge. Some of the other video platforms, you have to pay a fee or can pay a fee. Some of it is a little bit more difficult to navigate. I'm sure it's great for the younger audiences that really get into that type of thing, but Rumble essentially is trying to copy the YouTube platform. They have also said that they are going to be as free speech as they possibly can. Obviously, they have to ban things that are going to be obscene or violent, but regardless of your personal political opinion, you will not be banned, even if you are of the other political persuasion. Rumble right now is dominated by conservatives, but they will completely allow liberals. I have noticed though, on some of these other video platforms, pretty much the people that are getting banned on YouTube are going to them. So right now there's a lot of political videos where the non-political videos are staying on YouTube. I think that if enough content creators, people that make the regular, makeup tutorial videos, the ones that are really popular, go to these other video platforms, I think you're going to see them take off as well. Another reason I'm really into Rumble is that they are now a publicly traded company just like YouTube. Therefore, they have the financial investment to build the infrastructure. Some of these other sites like BitChute and Odyssey do not. And I do wish them the best of luck. And if those take off, I will definitely migrate my channel over to them as well. But I think when it comes to the interface and what people are used to here on YouTube, Rumble is definitely the way to go. And I have to say, I've only been posting to Rumble now for just a couple of weeks, and I'm almost already at 100 subscribers. There are a lot of big content creators that are now posting on Rumble with millions of followers. This is really becoming the second biggest video platform out there. And right now, there's not really a lot of firearms content out there. So I'm trying to put out as much as I can and hopefully kind of get ahead of the curve. So we'll see what happens. I'm still going to stay here on YouTube, but I'm definitely promoting the other sites as well. Then we have, I will go back to print media like magazines. The one thing about magazines that I have never liked, even in my personal profession, which is in music, I've never liked is that many of these magazines, in order to stay in business, they have to sell advertising. And because of that, they're forced to always give positive reviews of anything. I can tell you in the trade magazines of music, pretty much you'll never see a negative or critical review of anything. I once asked one of the publishers, why is this? They go, well, if we don't like a certain thing, well, they're never going to advertise with us ever again. Therefore, we're going to lose money. But so therefore, all of the reviews that you see in these magazines, they're not real. They all have to be tailored to make sure that that revenue stream comes in. One of the things about the ad revenue here on YouTube is that it is completely independent of the content creator. Therefore, we're allowed to say whatever opinion we have of whatever company or product, and the companies can still advertise, and you're not held responsible. I can be honest in my personal opinions. Other content creators can be honest in their personal opinions, and therefore you guys are getting the best information. But once you take that away and you have to take sponsorships or advertisements like magazines do, you're not going to get honest and fair reviews. And you're only getting a little bit of information at a slower pace as compared to the internet and YouTube, where you can essentially in one night watch 100 videos on 100 different topics. The magazine might only review 1 or 2 guns a month. Then we have gun shows, gun shops, and gun ranges, 9%. Now this is actually, I think, the best alternative if you decide to get off of any type of electronic platform, because you actually get to interact with other gun owners. The only downside to that is you kind of have your own small little niche. I know that I got people in my personal life that I go to the range with, go to the gun shows with, and they're awesome and great people. But I find most of my information out on the internet. You guys know I love to absorb as much as I can about firearms history, the mechanics of it. Well, not all of my friends are up to date on the latest locking mechanisms of the latest subguns from Europe. I have to go online for that. Now, if you're just somebody that's a casual gun owner and just likes to talk around the water cooler about the newest gun that's on the market, well, I think that's a great place to go. But I still personally think in order for all of the best information to get out there, you got to go out there and support some type of online platform. It doesn't have to be the ones that I recommend. It could be Instagram. It could be something else. But you need to go out there and support content creators that are bringing this stuff to your phone, to your computer, so that you can enjoy it and consume it. The gun shows are great, but you're not always going to get all of the information. And then finally, we have something else explained in the comments. And many people here were just kind of a mix and match of the other options. They're saying, well, I like to go to the gun shows and I'll probably replace YouTube with that. However, I will still go online, look at the online forums. I'll go to the Facebook groups, that type of thing. All right, so with that said, let's see what you guys have to say with this week's top-rated comments. And our top-rated comment of the week is from Steve Kaufman, who says, I think there will be other platforms that will grow as YouTube eliminates more and more content that people want. It may be a combination of many of the options above and other new options that aren't in existence or widely known of currently. And he nailed it right on the head. You know, the thing about the whole people that want to say, I'm going to stay on YouTube, it's just because it's what they're familiar with. Well, think about Blockbuster Video. I know 20, 25 years ago, there was a Blockbuster Video on every street corner. It was the dominant way that you went out and rented movies. And along came a company called Netflix. Blockbuster wasn't too worried because they were the biggest on the block. Well, where's Blockbuster today? We don't know what the market holds, but don't be a dinosaur. Just don't hold on to the past. Be willing to change when change is for the better. Then we have Hans McNeil, who says, if and when another video platform that can actually compete comes along, I jump right on it. For me, no one's there yet, unfortunately. It's a shame how hostile YouTube is towards firearms channels. As you said, they are a private company, and in that they can do as they please, but it still sucks for how no real reason they attack certain channels. Fiance was watching a video how they shut down a channel that exposed pedos. I can't wrap my head around any good reason that exposing those literal real-life monsters is bad. They're a private company that protects bad things and demonizes good things. She showed me full frontal nudity on here. I had assumed that adult content would be taken down ASAP. Not so. No age restriction. Nothing. Execution videos, creepy grooming pedo videos, racist, inflammatory, exclusionary lefty propaganda. All A-OK, but God forbid someone do something literally educational about firearms. I do not understand it. And that is the problem with the monopoly. They don't care about those other things because for the most part, all the people that is producing all of that content that he objects to, they have a particular political persuasion and they're going to push the narrative to people that are going to vote the way that YouTube wants. I'm telling you, it is all about politics. It doesn't matter if there is a serial killer. As long as he is on the left, YouTube will say it is A-OK. It is his free speech. But God forbid, as he said, someone on the right shows how to properly shoot a pistol. Well, that's violent content. Why? Because guns are usually promoted by the right, and we can't have people promoting the right because they might vote for people that we don't agree with, and that's the problem. And the people that are going to stay on YouTube and just take what they can get, well, this is what you're going to get, and it's going to warp your personal opinions on politics, and it could hurt the future of our civil society because you're only getting the propaganda from one side. Then we have George Patterson, who says, I think the thing is, and why it's so hard for me personally and others, I'm sure, to stray away from YouTube, is it's a very versatile platform. There's a wide variety of content on a variety of subjects. Another problem is I foresee with a gun-centric platform would be the quality of the content and information. I wouldn't want to pay for a service just to have someone spread misinformation about trash content. I watch a lot of School of the American Rifle, Small Arms Solutions, In Range, Forgotten Weapons, Garand Thumb, 9-hole reviews, etc. Channels like those provide value, so any new gun-specific platform would have to do a lot to attract quality content makers and viewers. Well, he's approaching this from a perspective like Full 30 tried to do. If you don't know, Full 30 was supposed to be just a gun tubing platform. Well, I disagree with that. One of the reasons why I like Rumble so much is that it's not just firearms. It's not just politics. You can post videos about anything on there. People are posting these little short videos about their cats and how to make food and sandwiches and how their day is going and just basic vlogging. It's just like YouTube. Rumble really is a platform that is going to be like YouTube, I think, in the future. And I completely agree. I have never signed up for any of the exclusive guns-only platforms because I think that kind of limits your audience. You want people to come to your platform because maybe they're interested in cooking or astronomy or science or cat videos, and then they're going to watch the gun videos. That's the brilliance of YouTube, as he said, the versatility. Well, I think other platforms are working on that. And for me, I'm finding that with Rumble. But I don't want this to be a Rumble commercial. I'm not saying that because I've decided that's what Rumble is. I'm just looking ahead and saying, well, this company's been around for 10 years, they're publicly traded, and they're following in the footsteps of YouTube and what made them great originally. And I have high hopes for what the future holds for them. Then we have Forever Vigilant, who says, I'm not running around chasing content. I'll catch you all at the shows. And I can appreciate that, but that also makes me very sad. I have a question for this person though. What did you do before YouTube? Well, did you just say, well, the internet's getting bigger, I'm not going to go to YouTube, I'm not going to go chase content? Well, you just found it. You don't want to become complacent. You know, it's just like those people that really hate the firearms laws of California, but they refuse to move. Well, obviously you don't hate them enough because you decide to live in California. Now, I am in no way judging your personal choices, but I'm just saying, if you are that passionate about it, you will make the change. And then finally we have Michael Garcia, who says, I will probably just go to Rumble, but I do have an issue with these other outlets charging a fee to view their content. At least YouTube doesn't charge. Not everyone can afford to pay to watch all the 2A channels available. And I agree. As I said, some of these other platforms have a small pay system. I am not a big fan of that. I just want to put out my content. They can choose or not to run ads on that content. You can choose to watch my content and participate in those ads and view them and go to those advertisers' websites. That's the free market, and that's the reason that YouTube has been successful and why I think Rumble is as well, because they're copying that model. So there you go. That is the Texas Gun Vault poll question of the week. Unfortunately, I had to ask this question this week. I know that the future of the Second Amendment is bright in general, but when it comes to being online, it might not be, with companies like YouTube, Alphabet, Google trying to put their boot on anything conservative, on anything libertarian, on anything Second Amendment. And when all of this content is gone, what are you going to do? I'm hoping that the poll is wrong and more people are actually going to go out and continue to consume the content that we all love to watch. When there's a vacuum, there's always somebody there to fill it. And I think YouTube is going to create a vacuum when it comes to a lot of different types of content. And hopefully other companies like Rumble are going to step up and fill that void and be successful. So there you go. That is the Texas Gun Vault poll question of the week. If you want to participate in next week's poll, please go to the community tab of my YouTube channel. I will also post a link in the description below. Go over there, vote, comment, and like other people's comments so we can get the top rated comments of the week. I also want to take a moment and, as always, thank all of my Patreons. Because of their support, this channel can continue to function. So thank you very much. And all of my other contact information, from P.O. boxes to my email, is also in the description below. So let me know if you have any questions. And as always, thanks for watching.